We're live. We're live. What's up, my friend? Abby here, and welcome to the first live stream in the virtual writing retreat for June. We are here, finally. First things first, tell me if you can see me and hear me okay. I'm using my mic on my webcam, so I want to make sure everybody can hear me and see me. And I need to shut off my email notifications. I'm getting notifications about my own live stream. Redundant. Okay. You guys can see me okay? Awesome. Yay. So glad you're here. I'm so happy to see all your smiling faces. And we are going to have so much fun today working on our writing projects. And I have been really looking forward to this writing retreat. If you saw my announcement live stream yesterday, you know all about it. But in case you didn't see that live stream yesterday, here's the lowdown. We're going on a virtual writing retreat together in the month of June. All month, I'm going to be doing Write With Me live streams every single Wednesday. Instead of videos, we're just going to be writing. And this is something that I need personally. This is something that I decided to carve out the time in June to do this, to devote myself to my writing projects, because I was feeling kind of creatively dull and just really wanting to get back into writing in a really inspired and fully there, like fully present in the act and the art of creating. So that's why I decided to do this virtual writing retreat, and I'm so excited that you guys are going to be joining me on this journey. It's going to be really fun, and I think it's going to be very productive too. I think we're going to get a lot of progress done on our projects. So it doesn't matter what you're working on. If you're working on a novel or a comic or a screenplay, doesn't matter what you're working on. Also in the Write With Me live streams, you don't necessarily have to write actual story. You could be working on scene cards or your outline, anything that you're making good progress towards your writing goals. That is what this whole thing is about us showing up together to do the work. So yeah, I'm very excited to do that today. I'm so happy you guys are here. Everybody is logging on. Do we use that term anymore? Logging on? I feel like it's really dank in here. Is it just me? Is that going to be like weird because of the fan? I don't know if that light is going to be bad because of the fan. I have the fan going, so I don't want it to be like flashing. But it's really overcast today. The sun can't decide if it wants to come out or not. So that does not make for good filming times. If any of you are YouTubers or film videos, you know how annoying it is when the sun keeps coming like out from behind the clouds. Ugh. Anyway, thank you for all the compliments on my hair. This is the first time I've done like space buns, so I was like, oh, I'm just gonna try it. Probably not like the wisest decision to try a new hairstyle right before I go live stream in front of 94,000 people, but that's where I'm at. Also, I'm extremely excited that we are like so close to hitting 100K. Like, I'm probably gonna just spontaneously combust from excitement and happiness when we hit 100K in this community, because it has been such an amazing journey. I want to do like some kind of either live stream or some sort of like little celebration thing when we hit 100K, because I'm so excited, and it's like so surreal because I have been following Peter McKinnon, which I'm sure you guys all know of, since 100K. Like, I remember when I first found his channel, he had just reached 100,000 subscribers and had just made a video about it, and I was like, oh, this guy's videos are really cool. So I started following him, and now looking back, I think he has like over 5 million subscribers now, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't believe like I'm the place of like almost reaching 100,000 people in my community, and it is so amazing. It's just such an amazing feeling. So it's very exciting, and I'm so looking forward to watching where this whole community takes us. It's going to be awesome. Yay! I'm so glad you guys are excited too. It's gonna be so much fun. I want to plan like a fun little like party thing, but I don't know how to plan it because I don't know when it will actually happen. So we'll see. Stay tuned for that. Okay, so who's ready to write? I was just thinking this morning when I was like getting ready, I was thinking like, I haven't even figured out what I'm gonna write today. So in my announcement video live stream yesterday, I talked about how I am working on a few different projects, but today I feel kind of like writing the co-write project that I'm doing with my sister Kate. We're writing a series together, and we can't give any spoilers about what it's about, so that's all I'm going to say. But I've been feeling like I want to write that, even though I have to finish the other book too. But I just feel more like in the mood to write the series today, so that's what I'm going to be working on. I've been meaning to write a chapter because we're like alternating chapters. So she finished her chapter a couple days ago, and I feel bad that I haven't like written anything else. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna be working on today. Comment in the chat. I know you guys have been chatting for a while, but comment in the chat and tell me what you are going to be working on today. I saw several, as I was scrolling through, I saw like a bunch of different types of projects. So some of you are working on outlines, some of you are working on scene cards, some of you are writing your first chapter, which is so exciting. So yeah, comment in the chat, tell me what you're working on today. That's what I'm gonna be working on today. And as always, we're gonna do this in writing sprints. So I'm going to set the timer for 25 minutes. We'll write for 25 minutes, and then we'll take a 5-minute break. And in the break, I will talk to you guys, answer questions, all of that. So that's how the structure of these Write With Me's work. And yeah, it's pretty simple. Just show up and write. You'll hear my timer go off, so I'll start talking when 25 minutes goes by. I'm also going to shut off my notifications because we have to focus, right? And get my timer up here. Usually I wait until like the first break to dive into your questions because I'm excited to write. So yeah, I just finished like putting together my aesthetic for today's writing day. And I also realized that I didn't figure out how much of my synopsis I wanted for this chapter. So I'm just kind of like, I kind of just eyeballed that, like, okay, it'll probably go up to this point, but I also had a couple of other ideas for a few scenes I want to insert into this chapter, so who knows where it will go. I'm just gonna like start writing and see what happens. But I do have quite a bit of outline here, so I'm not too concerned. Okay, so everybody get your timers ready. Get your, grab your coffee or your tea. I have a lovely iced dirty chai latte, which is coffee and chai tea. So good. Okay, so yeah, get your timers ready and let's get into it. I was so bummed because I got a new pair of blue light glasses because these ones are getting a little worn out from my favorite blue light glasses company, which is Classy Network, and that's where I got these cute ones. But there was a little mix up and they sent the wrong ones, so now I'm waiting for the right ones to be shipped to me, and I'm like, oh, dang it. But it's okay. I'll probably have them for the next live stream. You have the same glasses? Awesome! That's so cool. Yeah, I really like these ones because I really like the clear rims because that way I don't have to like see the rim. Although the other ones I was trying to get were like tortoiseshell, which I also like because they're just timeless. So yeah, let's get started. Get your timers ready. Get your music ready. I don't know what I'm gonna listen to. Probably like my espionage scenes playlist. Oh shoot, I just gave you a hint as to the genre. My AirPods were doing something weird yesterday. I couldn't figure it out. It's 11:11. I see that all the time. It's ridiculous. I see it almost every single day. And I believe in the law of attraction and like paying attention to like signs and just things, coincidences that pop up in your life. And that's pretty cool, if I do say so myself. Okay, let's get our timers ready. So 25 minutes on the timer. And I'm going to hit play, and you guys, I'll talk to you in 25 minutes. That was no idea why it was so soft. Guess I turned alarm volume down. Okay. Whatever. So boom. Writing sprint number 1 is done. How did it go? Let me know in the chat. My writing sprint went really well, actually. I was able to jump right into this chapter and just get started. And I wrote over 400 words. So I'm happy with that so far. Oh, looks like a super chat just came in. Yay, awesome. Super chat from Pete. Hi, Abby, good day. I would like to ask you a question. Do you have or had a full-time job while writing? If you did, do you have any schedule tips? That's a really good question. So I have always worked like freelance and for my parents' business because my parents are also entrepreneurs. They have their own business, and I've always worked for their business. So I haven't really ever had like a full-time job that I have to be at a certain time every day. It's always been like really weird hours, working from home, doing myriad things on different projects. So kind of an unconventional case in my case, but I would say for scheduling tips, time blocking or calendar blocking has saved my life so many times, even with working from home, working with a more erratic schedule of various projects happening that you're not sure when you're going to have time to do things like writing. So calendar blocking would be my first, definitely my first piece of advice for that. I have actually a couple videos on calendar blocking from way back when, but you can also find some great tutorials on YouTube about calendar blocking. You might already do calendar blocking, but I do it in Google Calendar, and it's just it's so eye-opening to like just go through and block out sections of time that you will be spending, you're going to be spending at work, and then being able to see all the time that you have left over. And of course, you should also schedule in other obligations and things that you have to do in your daily life. But it's amazing seeing how much time you actually have that you don't even realize that you have when you're looking at it from like a broader view. It seems like, oh, I have no time, but you might actually have more time than you realize. So calendar blocking has really helped me with that. Also using things like Trello, I have recently started using, and I love Trello so much. I actually use it more than Google Calendar now because I like how it's kind of less stress, and I have less time constraints now as I'm growing my own business. So yeah, that's kind of that's been my perspective on it. Awesome, looks like you guys had a great writing sprint, 400 words, 362, 625, wow. 460, 26. Awesome. You guys are doing great. And don't worry if you didn't write a whole ton of words. I've done some writing sprints where I barely write like one paragraph, but it's okay because we're showing up for ourselves. That's the important thing. Okay, I don't know if my camera is like lagging or if it's just because my lights are being weird. Let me know. A question from Maya. I've always wanted to know when/how long you've been writing. So this is a tough question because I've been writing pretty much since I could write. I've been like making up stories and writing stories, and that I would say spiraled into a more serious writing endeavor around age 13, I would say. I was 13 when I wrote my first novel. I put it in air quotes because it wasn't like, it didn't turn out that great, but I took it seriously, and that's the most important thing. I'm trying to come up with a better light solution here. I think that might look better. I don't know if there's enough light because maybe it's just my camera's being weird. Oh, I don't know. Maybe it's just my camera is lagging. I don't know. Anyway, So yeah, I would say I've been seriously writing since I was 13. So that's 10 years now. Wow. Crazy. But I always say that it doesn't really matter. I mean, time does give you a lot of practice, a lot of experience, and a lot of things like writing voice and character voice, a lot of those skills just come with time. So it's important to not be too hard on yourself, but also just to write. I mean, I've learned everything I know experientially, and I think that's the best way to learn, in my personal opinion. So I highly recommend it. Okay, let's see. A question from Amy. Have you ever struggled with side characters who start to become more than just side characters? Do you squash that or do you just run with it? I run with it, because once you start getting ideas and you're like, oh, I like this backstory, this character could have such deep internal conflict, like don't squash that. Like that is gold. And once you start feeling like inspired for that character, the thing is this, they're not going to steal the show because you're going to make your reader care about them. Okay, so if your reader cares about them, it's just another element that makes them want to keep picking up the book or keep, watching whatever it is. That's going to keep your audience engaged with your story. Okay, so it doesn't. You don't even have to think of them as a side character. It's just this is a character, and if this character contributes to holding the attention of my audience, good. And also, you might end up spinning off and writing something else about that character. So if you didn't have that element of intrigue and have your audience care about that character a lot, you wouldn't be able to have the opportunity to spin off with something else about that character, if it makes sense. So that's something that I'm actually currently experiencing with this series that I'm co-writing with my sister. There's so many characters in it, and I just love them all so much, and I'm currently like coming up with so much backstory for all of them, and I'm really enjoying it. So whenever I think of something new, some new dynamic element of backstory or conflict for these characters, I nurture that. I keep working on it, and I run with it. So I highly recommend that. Let's see. I'll make sure I didn't miss any. Oh, by the way, guys, I forgot to mention with that first question, Super Chat is a fun way to contribute and support me, my channel, everything that I'm doing here on YouTube while we're here on the live stream. So I'm way more likely to see your question because it gets like held for a certain amount of time through the Super Chat. So that's the little icon right below the place where you write in the chat. And yeah, so that's when you do the Super Chat, it shows up for longer. So if I miss your question, and it's because this chat is flying by really fast, sometimes I just don't see them all. But it does also help to reply my name. Okay, let's see. I'm going to answer two more, and then we're going to get into our next writing sprint because I want to get into our next writing sprint. I don't want to talk for too long. When is the next Write With Me live stream? That's going to be next Wednesday. So every Wednesday this month, we're going to be doing Write With Me live streams. If you missed the beginning of this live stream, I was explaining that we are on a writing retreat, a virtual writing retreat together, and we're going to do Write With Me's every single Wednesday at different times. So if you can't make it this time, or if it's too early, or you have things going on, next week is going to be later in the day. Okay, so it'll be a different time for you. So I'm trying to make it so that everybody can join. Okay, let me grab another question here. From Clara, I'm literally stuck on chapter 2. I'm revising and I have no idea how to fix the pacing. Now I'm just lost. Help. Okay, so without a lot of context there, I'm not sure what the exact problem is, but I would say to start from a different angle. Like I find that when I'm stuck on something, that helps me a lot to just say, okay, what if I either back up or I go forward in my timeline here of the story? What if I start somewhere completely different? What if I turn this thing upside down? What if I start from another character's point of view and go back into the main character's point of view? What if I start with a flash forward or a flashback? Just try something different, okay? When I'm stuck on something and it's really driving me crazy, it's usually because I'm trying to make something work that isn't necessarily supposed to work, if that makes sense. And there's a even better idea waiting for me if I would just like take a step back and look at it from a different perspective. So sometimes that means just going crazy, think outside the box, do something like totally different and see what happens, see where those ideas take you. It could take you somewhere really, really cool. So always try to listen to that inspiration. Look for different ways to start your book or to do chapter 2, okay? Or maybe make chapter 1, chapter 2, and make chapter 1 different. All kinds of different things you could do. So we'll do one more question, then we're going to get back into our next writing sprint. Let's see. What is your favorite thing about writing? That's a fun one. My favorite thing about writing is being able to become a different person, like mentally, and to experience like another culture or a place or just a whole different like situation in life. It's kind of like, I don't know, it's like daydreaming, but even cooler because you are like, you feel transported. Those are like the best writing days, aren't they? Like the days where you feel totally transported to this other world and you like are that character and you are so jarred when you come out of it, or you're just interrupted and you're like, what is going on? Who am I? Where am I? That's what I love the most about writing. I think my dog wants to come in. Hi, cutie. Come in. You can come in. Yeah. Hi. The Writer's Life Wednesday community loves you. My little writing buddy. Hi. Say hi to the world. This is Rocket. He's actually my sister's dog. He's such a little love bug. Yes, you are. He loves sitting with me while I write. I have like one of those like faux fur rugs that are like really fluffy and white, and it looks just like him, so he like disappears when he's lying on this rug. He loves this rug so much. It's ridiculous. Like every single day he's in here lying on this rug, and I like have to look twice because he blends in with it perfectly, and it's ridiculous. Okay, I'll let you take a nap. There you go. We need to do our second writing sprint. Let's get to it. Okay. Okay. So get your timer ready, and we're gonna jump into our second writing sprint. What kind of dog is he? He is a Maltese Bichon Frise mix. So Maltese-Shon, I think they call them. So he's like super fluffy and curly, but he is a little love bug. I also have a Maltese named Pearl, which you guys have probably seen, but she doesn't like being held. So if you hear like grunting noises, that's Rocket, not me. Okay, I'm gonna get like another playlist because does anyone else hate this new Spotify update? Because I do. I want like a more calm playlist. Okay. All right, 25 minutes. Let's go.
And that is our timer for sprint number 2. I was like just getting into it. I have no way of knowing like how many words I wrote because I kind of jumped all over the place in this chapter. This 200 and probably like 350, I want to say. 350, let's say that. How was your sprint? That was fast. I know it was, wasn't it? I finished my scene. Yay! Awesome. Congratulations. I'm having live streams, Write With Me live streams every week this month. So for I can't remember, where are you? Yadira, I hope I'm saying your name right. My live videos are going to be at different times every Wednesday. So next Wednesday, I'm going to do another one, and it's going to be at a different time. Okay, it'll probably be the afternoon. So if this one didn't work for a lot of writers, then you can join me next week in the afternoon. And I always let everybody know, like, at least a day ahead of time, usually, when I'm going to go live on my channel. I know, I was just getting into it too. I was like, oh, there's the timer again. My music was like super atmospheric. It was perfect. And then the timer rang. I feel like we need to do a write with me sometime that's like a longer sprint. Although I do like stopping and chatting with you guys. Okay, so it looks like you did a great sprint. Wow, 700 words, 600, 582. Oh my goodness. That is awesome. You guys are amazing. Great job. Okay, so I'm going to answer a few questions, then we're going to get into our third sprint.
Who's your favorite living author? I say living because I already know your favorite author is Jane Austen. Yeah, I do love Jane Austen. My favorite living author, wow. I don't have, there aren't a lot of books that I like read and then love so much that I read everything that the author has ever written. But probably the closest to that, I would say, would be the author of Flipped, Wendelin Van Dranen. I love her books, and I haven't read a ton of her books. I want to read, like, her other books are on my TBR, but I read Flipped like 7 times because I love that book, and The Running Dream is also really good. Her books are a little bit more like on the younger side of YA, but I really, really love her writing style. It's like my favorite, one of my favorite books from my childhood. Not really childhood, but like my teenage years. So yeah, I would have to say her books like consistently have impressed me. Let's see. What do you think of creating a Discord server? Everyone wants to. I know. I've heard of it and I've never really like looked super deep into it. I want to do that because I've had several people request it and I think it could be cool, but I've never like gone through the process of doing it. So I'm gonna put that on my list for sure because I've had a lot of requests for it now and I think it could be really fun, even though I'm not totally sure how it works still, even though I've had people explain it to me. So I'm definitely gonna look into that. Because I think that could be cool. Let's see. Do you think it's okay for a book in a duology to have a different theme and the other book to have a different theme? Absolutely. Like, it doesn't have to be, you know, the whole overarching theme of the whole series. You'll probably have several themes going on that will overarch, like some will overarch the whole duology, and then you'll have different themes for each book. I would say kind of just trust the story, trust the characters and the journey that they're going on, because as you follow these characters on their journey, it will become obvious to you what are the themes here, what is the underlying message behind all of this, what are the realizations that my characters come to, and that will be different as time goes on. You might even see some changes throughout the book, or the first book or the second book. Like, even a standalone book might have several different themes. So did The Running Dream inspire 100 Days of Sunlight? No, actually it did not, because I didn't even know about that book until after I wrote 100 Days of Sunlight, and then I'm like, oh my gosh, Wendelin Van Dranen wrote a book about a girl who's a runner who lost her leg in an accident, and it's such a good story. But I actually didn't even read it. I didn't even know about it. I had heard of it, like somebody had recommended it to me a long time ago, and I'm like, I forgot what it was even about. So it was kind of interesting to have that like coincidence. Talk about coincidences. You guys tell me, who's your favorite living author? And I won't be offended if it's not me. Usually I don't read like everything by an author. It's just doesn't usually happen. Because I'm rarely like really impressed with a book, which sounds so snobby, I know, but it's just how it is. How did you divide the pages on Scrivener? I see my document as a whole page and I don't know how to fix that. Okay, so it's an option on Scrivener called Page View, and I actually did like a little screenshot of it one time for somebody, but it's up in the upper right hand corner. I can't really show you, but it's up in the upper right hand corner. If you're on Mac, at least, I think it's the same on Windows, but if you're on Mac, at least on mine, up in the top left corner. I'm so tired today. The top left corner underneath, if you're on Mac, it will be underneath the X button. There should be a little icon that's like a picture of your Scrivener layout with like a sidebar, and there's options under there. One says like hide binder, show collections, hide format, hide or show page view is like the second to the last option there. And then if you click that, it will go to page view. If you click it off, it will go back to like this full page, like an endless page. But I like having it on page view because I like being able to see my progress better. Like, oh, okay, I wrote a page, I wrote 2 pages or whatever. I think there's another way to get to it as well, but I can't remember. That's the quickest way that I know to get to it. Hopefully that explanation made sense. Oh, gosh, I'm missing some super chats in here. I'm so sorry. Where did they go? Okay, if I click on it, yay, that shows me. Okay, thank you, super chat from Ivania. I hope I'm saying your name right. Thank you so much for hosting these live sessions, Abbie. They're super useful. I'm so glad. Thank you so much. I'm so happy that you get some inspiration and encouragement out of these writing sessions. And from Amy, thank you for always showing up for your community. It means the world to us. Thank you, Amy. Thank you for always showing up. You are amazing. Let's see, that was like showing up a couple of times. So thank you for the super chats. Okay, I'm gonna answer 2 more questions and then we're gonna get into our next sprint, okay? Is it okay to have just 1,000 words per chapter if you're just a beginner? Yes, absolutely. I would not worry at all about chapter length. It does not matter how long your chapters are. In fact, shorter chapters, in my personal experience, shorter chapters incentivize reading more for me, because I'm like, oh, okay, this chapter is short. I'm just going to read this one chapter. And then I end up reading the next one and the next one and the next one, versus a long chapter. I might put the book aside more often because it's like, oh, okay, I really have to like sit here for a while and get into this. But I prefer short chapters, but that's just a preference thing. So don't worry about like chapter length. It's really just a preference thing. And I like short chapters. So what do you do to figure out your end and beginning when you have your middle? I have a whole series on that. I have like a whole detailed video series of breaking down the structure of the 3-act story structure, which is, in my opinion, the most amazing go-to structure for any kind of story. It doesn't just have to be a novel. So definitely check that out. I have videos on Act 1 and Act 3. So I would just like check out those 2 acts. I mean, there's several videos in each act, but the hook, the inciting incident, and the first plot point, definitely check out those. That's the beginning, okay? That's like the most important part, in my opinion. Like if you don't have the beginning, you don't even have to have the end. You don't have to even have the end be as spot on as possible. If you have an amazing, incredible beginning that really pulls people in, it covers a multitude of sins, okay? But for the ending, I also have a bunch of videos on the ending, climax, and building up to the climax. So supposed victory and disaster and aha moment and all of that. I think it's disaster, aha moment, and then the climax. So check out those 3 ones too, okay? That's a lot, I know, but all of that is in a special playlist about writing a novel with the 3-act story structure. If you haven't seen that, it's on my channel. Check it out. Another super chat from Moonsun for Life. Thank you so much. I just sat down and had a chat with one of my characters, writing a conversation like it's a dialogue, and found a way around my story block. That is so cool. I love that. Oftentimes when I'm creating characters and like writing up their character profile, I'll like have a conversation with them in my head. But I love the idea of like doing it, like actually writing it down. That's so cool. I'm gonna definitely try that sometime. Very cool idea. Okay, guys, thank you so much for the super chats. Let's get into our next writing sprint because I've been talking and ranting for more than 5 minutes, I know. And I'm excited to get back into this story that I'm writing. So let's continue. 25 minutes. Reset your timer. I've got my timer here, 25 minutes on the clock. Let's go. that was our timer. Hold on. Okay. So 2 hours went by just like that. How on earth? Okay, so 2 hours session of writing just happened. And I know I said 4 writing sprints, but for some reason it ended up being 2 hours just for 3. So I guess that's how we're rolling today. Next time I won't talk as much, okay? But you know me. I love chatting with you guys. Okay, so I'm gonna answer a few more questions. How did your last writing sprint go? Let me know. Chat in the live chat and tell me how many words you wrote. I was like doing really good in this, not necessarily in this sprint. I was like pausing to think a lot in this past sprint, but where is it? I can't remember where I stopped. Oh, I think I stopped right here. Yeah, so I only wrote like 200 words, but oh well. I was thinking a lot and like trying to piece together what this scene looks like in my mind, so that's why I was slower. But you guys look like you did a lot. 600 words, 400, 900 is over. Oh my gosh, wow. That's amazing. You guys are awesome. Great job. Awesome, 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 awesome. For the whole writing session here, I did 857 words, which I'm pretty happy with because I was not expecting, I didn't really have any expectations, honestly. I was just like, I'm just going to show up and write for 2 hours. And that's what we did. So, boom. We did it. Awesome. You guys did an amazing job. Look at all these words that got written in just these past 2 hours. It's so cool. If you think about like all the words added up, it's probably like a lot. I don't even know how many. Okay. So I want to answer a few questions. Awesome. So glad it went well. Thank you so much for the writing retreat, Abby. Because of it, I fell in love with one of my series I've created years ago again. That is so cool. I'm so glad. That is awesome. Brienne, it went well. I feel so good. I got out of the writing rhythm. This felt amazing. So excited for these next few weeks. Thank you, Abby. Awesome. That is so great. That just brightens my day to see all of you amazing writers just killing it. You're showing up for yourself, and that is the best thing. You're developing your characters. It's going great. Awesome. Oh, chat just like jumped. Have you ever written in a fantasy world? If so, what are some tips to making it more realistic? That's a good question. I did a whole video on world building. It was a while ago, but it's still a relevant, good video. So check that one out. And my tips for fantasy world, I have not written the actual book, but I am plotting a fantasy, plotting a fantasy. And I'm so all over the place with it. Like, I can't decide if it's going to be a screenplay or like 1 minute I'm like, this is going to be a novel, like epic fantasy novel. And then the next minute I'm like, no, this is actually going to be a musical film. So I don't even know what it is going to be, but I have been doing a lot of plotting on it, and I've been plotting it for years. And I would say that my personal tips for writing in any kind of world that's not the real world, it kind of like the same rules apply for all of it, whether it's a fantasy world or like science fiction or near future dystopian, doesn't really matter. same rules apply, which is making your goal is kind of to make it feel like this world has already existed for a long time and you're just pulling your audience into this world, but the world has already been here. Okay, so that's the pitfall I see a lot of new writers fall into with world building, is they start building the world as they're writing, and that's like the biggest mistake in my opinion. Build the world before you write the book. That is so important, because once you create the world, I like to look at it from like kind of a bird's eye view perspective of like, I'm looking down at this world that I'm creating, and then I enter the world and show my characters what they're going to be doing in this world. So I know that all sounds super vague, but coming up with like the rules of the world is very important. What is possible in this world and what is not possible in this world, whether you're dealing with a magic system or some kind of government that controls everything, or some sort of like society, all of those things you have to figure out beforehand. And the more you can richly craft them beforehand, the better writing experience you'll have and the better reading experience your readers will have. So I want to do more videos on that in the future, but we'll definitely talk about that in the future. Let's see. Sorry, this chat is like jumping so much. I don't know why it doesn't load smoothly for me. It never has. Okay, I have a question for you, Abbie, from Mara. How can I form a badass character? I love that question. I love badass characters, obviously. But you don't want badass characters to just be like a show off. Like, that can be a pitfall that some writers fall into, is creating a character that's just like so perfect and so badass that nothing ever gets them. Like, they have no weaknesses. It's kind of like the problem with the strong female character stereotype. So I'd say the first thing you have to do is make sure that you give them a weakness, and make sure that that weakness is clear to the reader, but it's not clear to everybody else. So chances are, if your character is kind of confident and like sure of themselves, they will try to hide their weaknesses and not show weakness. That is a good trait to have in a confident, cool character, but you want to make sure that your reader knows that they do have weaknesses. They're not a perfect person, and those weaknesses and misbeliefs and flaws that they only show the reader, or only show one other character maybe, or just their family, that is what shows us they're human. And so it gives better context to their ability to go out in the world and be badass, because you know that they're actually like hiding something. They actually have struggles and flaws and fears. Okay, that's a big component there. So yeah, making sure that they have weaknesses, I would say, is the most important thing to writing a badass character, which seems like such a, it seems like kind of a like oxymoron to say that. Like, oh, you have to make them weak in order to make them strong, but it's true, you have to. So hopefully that helps. Oh, a super chat just came in. Let's see, where was that? I guess I don't have to scroll. Thank you for the super chat, Jada. Contemporary romance is a tricky genre. What advice would you give in regards to writing it? By the way, I love you. You're very, very helpful. Thank you. So contemporary romance is my favorite genre, as you might know. It can be tricky because you're not able to rely on plot so much, right? And that's one of my favorite things about it, actually, is not having this big, exciting plot to work with. And you can really dig deep into the characters. So my first piece of advice for that would be what I always say on this channel, which is making it matter to the characters. And it does not matter what it is, what is happening in the plot. I don't care. I don't even care. All I care about is why does it matter to the characters? What are their beliefs? So getting to know the characters and then letting your reader get to know the characters, that can be just as exciting as the plot, you know? So character-driven stories can be any genre, obviously. But when you're writing something like contemporary romance, you have limited options as to what the plot can be. It's not going to be anything like super exciting and loud and crazy and perilous, but it can be just as addictive to your reader if you develop the characters to the point where the reader falls in love with the characters, they can relate to the characters, and all of that comes with developing the desire, fear, and misbelief of your characters. So yes, plot is important to some degree. Of course, you have to have external conflict that is coinciding with the internal conflict, but these two things have to play on each other. It can't just be an exciting plot, because the plot by itself is not exciting if we don't care about the characters. And it can't just be the characters, sitting in a blank white room, because something has to be happening to them in order for them to change. So it's a dichotomy for sure. But I think that you have to go into a genre like that just knowing that it's not going to be like other genres, and that's okay because it's its own thing, and you have an audience. So hopefully I didn't miss any other super chats, but here's another one from Ridgeview. Thank you so much. Creative writing is amplified with these sessions, like the experience of 100th monkey effect. We feed up and enhance our writing energies. I'm so glad that these writing sessions are helpful for you guys. That means so much to me. And it's really fun for me too. Like, it helps me to stop what I'm doing in my work day or whatever and be like, nope, I'm going to show up and write. And I have all of you guys like holding me accountable and sitting here watching me. And you can see if I'm getting distracted, and you know that I'm not. So thank you. Thank you for keeping an eye on me. Okay, another super chat. Where is it? The Stacy Squad. Thank you so much. Do you have any advice for coming up with more scenes for a contemporary with a mystery subplot? How can I come up with more mystery scenes? Thank you. Mystery is an interesting genre to write, and I think everybody's writing process is different with mystery as far as like coming up with actual mysteries. I think one really helpful thing to do is to take inspiration from real life and other stories that you like, and kind of keep like a running list either on your Scrivener or in your head of like different elements that you really like. Not like stealing from other stories, obviously, like what I was talking about in my video last week or a couple weeks ago, whenever that was, the story smoothies. Like taking little bits and pieces of different elements that you like maybe it's just one scene from a story, a mystery that you really like, and some situation or a conflict that surfaces between a few characters, making that like your own and putting your own spin on it, and then taking like different elements and bringing them into your story in a coherent way that you know that they can work together. So you want things that complement each other, obviously, not anything that would be like, oh, this situation could never happen in this story because it's just not suited to that situation. I know this is super vague. It's hard to explain what I'm like trying to say here. I'm super tired still. But anyway, so yeah, for actually like coming up with the mystery plot, I think once you have like those different elements that I know I want these different elements in this story, okay, there'll be like bigger plot points, I guess. One thing will lead to another. So with cause and effect, as we always talk about, works with the plot, works with the story, works with external conflict and internal conflict as well. One thing should lead to another. So always asking yourself, okay, how does this set up something else? How does this scene make the next scene inevitable? How does this domino knock down the next domino? and letting the reader see that direct connection, that's super important to holding the attention of your reader, especially when writing a mystery. So hopefully that makes sense. I want to do some videos on writing mystery in the future because I'm currently working on writing more mystery, more mystery stories. And it's a genre that I used to write a lot when I was younger, and I loved it and I miss it. So yeah, I'm gonna do more videos on that in the future, for sure. But unfortunately, I gotta run, okay? I love you guys so, so much, and I thank you so much for asking me all these wonderful questions. I wish I could stay here all day and answer them all, but I have other things I need to do. So thank you for coming to the live stream and writing with me today. This was the first writing session of our writing retreat, our virtual writing retreat, and I think it went well. All of you guys, thank you so much for coming. I'm so glad that you got to get some good words in, some good writing time. I'm going to be doing this every day. I'm not going to be doing live streams every day, but I'm going to be showing up for myself every day this month and writing. Okay, even if it's just a little bit, even if it's just a page or a paragraph, the important thing to do is to take time for yourself, for your art, to show up for yourself and to do the work. Okay, sometimes it feels like work, sometimes it's not fun necessarily, but it's important to get that practice in. So thank you for joining me for today's session. Tomorrow, I'm going to be posting on the YouTube community tab with my writing updates, and I'm going to do that every day this month, okay? So even though they're only going to be live streams every Wednesday, I'm going to be posting in the YouTube community tab with just a little post, like, you know, a social media post, maybe a picture or something, with my writing update. So I want you guys to hang out on those posts, keep an eye out for them, and when you see them, comment, tell me about your writing day, and I want to know how this retreat goes for you. So I'm excited about this journey, and I hope to see you in the next live stream. Until then, happy writing and rock on.